My name is Bernhard Penner. I was born in Unna in Westphalia, which is in the western part of Germany, in 1926. It was a town of less than 20,000 with lots of farmland and woods around it. I had a very comfortable home, 3 siblings, and very loving parents. I had a very good friend who lived a few houses away. His name was Siegfried Rentmeister. And Siegfried and I did everything together. We spent a lot of time at my house or at his house. It was a fairly quiet town, quiet neighborhood, very quiet neighborhood. Unlike our American society now, where the kids spend so much time at home, almost all of my time, free time, was spent outside and in the company of either my friend Siegfried or the other children who lived in our neighborhood. And I learned a lot of things about life on the street. Initially, school was wonderful. I had a wonderful teacher for the first few grades. In the 4th grade, my teacher was a Nazi. He was not only a Nazi, he was a monster. The guy took tremendous pleasure in torturing me, literally. In other words, he had like all the teachers, or many of the teachers did, he had a bamboo stick, and he used it more on me, and most of the time for no reason. And he would frequently say, Penner, why don't you go back to Palestine? And then the children in the streets, they started turning against me. I had to literally fight my way to and from school. I became very aggressive. I would use whatever means I could in order to protect myself and do as much damage as possible to the guys who were bothering me. So school became hell, and the only Jewish kids in the school were myself, my younger brother, and one other Jewish boy. It wasn't a good summer because the street was no longer an extended home for me, where I could just go out in the street and feel comfortable. Sometimes I would go out, but I would never be with the other children. Probably about 1937, Siegfried started joining he joined the Hitler Youth, and subsequently I was no longer welcome at his house, and it was the end of the friendship. My main friend became one of the girls from the Hebrew school, Mariana Mond, M-O-N-D. And Mariana and I were very, very close. I spent a lot of time at her house. But eventually, they moved away because her father, a doctor, was forced to leave Unna. He no longer had any patients. He was a war hero, a German war hero. I recall one time, as I was approaching their house, there was a mob really, who were throwing things against the house, eggs and stuff. Dr. Mond, Mariana's father, came out with his Iron Cross first class, but it had no impact whatsoever. Well, I think the main thing was that I had this wonderful home where I always felt protected and at peace, although a few times that feeling was destroyed, at least temporarily, because somebody would come when we were we were at our synagogue, and we'd come back and the windows would be smeared with tar, or someone would throw a rock and actually break a window. Eventually, there was no respite from this sense of imminent danger and the lack of protection. That was the first really traumatic thing that happened to me in my childhood that made me aware of Nazism and its implications.